The hall of the Great Galactic Council was larger than any city on Earth. Its ceiling touched the clouds of a gas giant, glowing with alien lights. Pillars of crystal rose high into the air, each one carved with the names of empires that ruled the stars for thousands of years. On this day, the hall was full. Every seat was taken. Leaders from 100 races had come. Some had wings. Some had scales. Some were nothing but floating energy wrapped in metal shells. They all had one thing in common: fear of humanity. The supreme speaker of the council raised his hand. His voice echoed like thunder. Today we pass judgment. Earth must surrender. Humanity must be broken. His words shook the hall. His eyes glowed as he stared at the other leaders. They are dangerous. They are stubborn. If they are allowed to rise, no empire will be safe. Humanity must kneel or they will be crushed. Gasps filled the chamber. The declaration was final. A lizard-skinned emperor slammed his clawed hand against the table. Yes, the humans fight like beasts. They do not know when to stop. They burn their enemies even when they are dying. They must be ended now, before it is too late. A winged queen spread her feathers wide. My fleets still remember Earth's soldiers. They fought in silence. They fought without fear. They are not like other species. They are something else. If we do not crush them now, tomorrow it will be us who kneel. Voices rose one after another. They fight too hard. They remember every insult. They never forgive. The council's words spread across the stars. Billions of beings listened through their holoscreens. The message was clear. Earth must surrender. Humanity has no future. Across the galaxy, fear turned to excitement. Many believed Earth would beg for mercy. Others laughed, waiting for humans to cry. Armies sharpened their blades. Fleets charged their cannons. The countdown to humanity's defeat had begun. But then, something strange happened. Earth was silent. No ambassador came forward. No reply was sent. Not a single word escaped the blue planet. The council repeated their demand. Surrender now, or be destroyed. Still, nothing. The silence began to spread fear. It was not the silence of weakness. It was not the silence of a defeated enemy. No, this was different. It felt like the silence before a storm. The alien leaders whispered to each other. Why do they not answer? Perhaps their leaders are dead. Perhaps they are too afraid. But in the deepest corners of their hearts, another thought began to rise. What if the silence meant something else? What if humanity was waiting? The council speaker tried to hide his unease. His voice grew louder, angrier. Earth is nothing. They are fragile, small, and weak. They do not deserve the stars. If they resist, we will burn their world. We will erase their name from history. Cheers erupted from the hall. Many leaders slammed their fists, claws, or tendrils in agreement. The decision was final. The council declared war. But the galaxy did not know the truth. Far away, hidden on the dark side of the moon, a human admiral watched the council's speech. His face was calm. His eyes were sharp. He listened as the most powerful rulers of the galaxy demanded Earth's defeat. And then, he smiled. Because humanity had already made its choice. The council's message spread like fire through the galaxy. Every world, every system, every empire now repeated the same words. Earth must surrender. Humanity must kneel. In great halls and busy marketplaces, aliens laughed. Some called humans fools. Others called them children playing with fire. On the war world of Korath, soldiers in black armor trained with their plasma rifles. Their general shouted to his troops. Humans will cry when they see our fleets. Their planet will burn, and their people will beg for mercy. They think they are strong, but we will show them what real war looks like. The soldiers roared in agreement, their voices echoing across the training ground. On another planet, the winged queen of the seraphim spoke to her advisors. Her golden feathers glowed under the light of her throne. Humans are proud. But pride means nothing when our fleets arrive. Their silence only proves their fear. The advisors bowed and laughed. They will kneel, my queen. They always kneel in the end. Even merchants mocked Earth. In the markets of the galactic core, traders sold cheap souvenirs, tiny models of Earth burning, humans on their knees, chains around their necks. Crowds gathered, laughing, paying credits to mock the humans they believed were already defeated. But not everyone laughed. In the dark corners of the galaxy, whispers spread. Some old veterans remembered the last time they fought against humans. Their faces grew pale as they spoke quietly. One scarred soldier muttered to his drinking companions, "You fools don't understand. Humans don't stop. Even when they lose, they don't stop. They fight like they were born for war." His companions laughed at him. "You are just afraid of ghosts. Earth is finished." But the soldier only shook his head. His hands trembled as he remembered battles where human marines fought with broken weapons, with no chance of victory, and still refused to fall. The council ignored such warnings. To them, humanity was nothing but a problem to erase. Inside the council hall, the speaker smiled. "Still no answer from Earth?" he asked. "No, Supreme Speaker," replied an advisor. "They remain silent." The hall erupted in laughter. The speaker raised his arms. "See. They are cowards. They hide behind silence because they have no power. We will crush them like insects." The laughter grew louder, filling the chamber. Alien leaders banged their tables, their voices mixing into a storm of mockery. But far away, on the small blue planet they all mocked, Earth was not laughing. In secret bunkers buried deep under mountains, human commanders studied maps of the stars. They watched every move the council made. They tracked every fleet that gathered, every soldier that prepared, every speech that mocked them. And still, humanity said nothing. On Earth's surface, ordinary people continued their lives. Children went to school. Workers built machines. Farmers tended fields. But under this quiet surface, preparations never stopped. Ships were being armed. Soldiers were being trained. New weapons, ones the galaxy had never seen, were being tested in silence. The galaxy thought humanity was weak. The galaxy thought Earth was afraid. But Earth remembered. They remembered burned colonies. They remembered soldiers left behind. They remembered the laughter of the galaxy. And slowly, in the silence, their anger grew. The council mocked Earth. The empires mocked Earth. Even the smallest races mocked Earth. But soon, very soon, the laughter would die. Because silence was not fear. Silence was the warning. And when the silence finally broke, the galaxy would understand why humanity was not to be mocked. The laughter of the council echoed across the stars. Every world believed Earth was finished. Armies were ready, fleets were armed, and songs of victory were already written. But behind the cheers, behind the mocking voices, a shadow of fear began to spread. It started with the veterans. Old commanders who had faced humans in battle could not forget what they saw. General Rithak, a reptilian warrior with scars across his chest, sat alone in his quarters. His claws tapped the table as he remembered. Years ago, his army had landed on a human colony. They expected an easy victory. But the humans did not surrender. Even when their walls fell, even when their weapons were gone, they fought with stones, with fire, with their bare hands. Rithak whispered to himself, they should have broken, but they did not. They never do. In another system, a Seraphim admiral stood on the bridge of her warship. She looked out at the stars and felt unease in her chest. She remembered the eyes of human pilots. When their ships were burning, when their fleets were torn apart, those eyes never showed fear. They showed something else, something that sent chills through her feathers. "Why do I feel this?" she murmured. "Why does their silence feel like a blade waiting in the dark?" Her officers pretended not to hear. None of them wanted to admit the truth. Across the galaxy, similar doubts whispered through the minds of leaders and soldiers. They laughed in public, but in private they remembered the battles where humans refused to die quietly. They remembered stories told in hushed voices, stories of human soldiers crawling back to battle with broken bodies, refusing to stop until the enemy was gone. Some called it madness. Others called it courage. But everyone who had faced humans knew the same truth: they do not quit. Inside the Great Council itself, even among the rulers who demanded Earth's defeat, there was unease. The Speaker of the Council met with his closest advisers in secret. His voice was low, his tone heavy. "Why do they remain silent?" he asked. One advisor replied, "Because they are weak. They have no answer." But the Speaker's eyes narrowed. "Or perhaps, they are waiting." The room fell silent. None dared to speak. The Speaker continued, "If humanity had nothing, they would beg. They would scream. But they do not beg. They do not scream. They simply wait. That is what makes me uneasy." But then he struck the table with his fist, shaking off his fear. "No matter. Even if they fight, we are many. They are one. Their end is certain." The advisers nodded, but their faces betrayed doubt. Far away, across the stars, ordinary aliens also felt a strange fear. In crowded markets, in dark alleys, whispers spread. Why do humans not speak? What if they are planning something? What if their silence is not weakness but strength? Still, the galaxy pushed those fears aside. Mockery was easier. Laughter was safer. No one wanted to believe that a single world could stand against thousands. But in their hearts, they knew the truth. Humanity was not like other races. Other races fought for power. Others fought for resources. Others fought for pride. But humans fought for survival. And survival made them unstoppable. The fear grew slowly, like a shadow across the stars. The louder the council mocked, the stronger the shadow became. And though no one admitted it, deep down they all remembered one simple, terrifying truth. The last enemy you want is the one who refuses to die. And in that truth, the galaxy began to understand what they had awakened. 4 weeks, the galaxy waited. The Council had demanded Earth's surrender. Fleets gathered in orbit around alien homeworlds, ready to strike. Soldiers sharpened their blades and tested their weapons. Leaders spoke boldly of victory, of how humans would kneel like every other conquered race. But Earth remained silent. The silence grew heavier each day. It was not the silence of fear. It was not the silence of weakness. It was something deeper, something that unsettled even the bravest of alien commanders. And then, without warning, the silence broke. The Council's private chamber flickered with light. A message appeared across their grand holoscreens. It was not a decorated ambassador. It was not a fearful prisoner. It was a simple man in a dark uniform. His face was calm, his eyes sharp, his voice steady. He said only one word. "No." The chamber froze. The words echoed again and again through the translators, reaching every corner of the galaxy. Billions of aliens leaned closer to their screens, waiting for more. But the human did not explain. He did not beg. He did not justify. He simply said no. And then the screen went black. The council hall erupted in chaos. Leaders shouted over one another. Some pounded their fists on the tables. Others demanded immediate war. "They refuse us," cried the Seraphim Queen, her feathers bristling with rage. "They dare to mock the council," growled the Lizard Emperor, his claws scratching deep into the table. "This is madness," another shouted. "They are only one world." The speaker tried to calm the room, but his voice trembled. "Silence," he roared. "They think they can defy us. Then we will erase them from existence." But in the middle of their anger, a new sound broke through the noise. At first it was faint, like static. Then it grew louder, clearer. A sound carried on every channel, across every star system, on every screen. A laugh. The galaxy went still. The sound spread, low chuckles, deep laughs, soft giggles. Millions of human voices laughing together. It was not the laugh of joy. It was not the laugh of madness. It was the laugh of men and women who had been challenged, and were not afraid. Alien soldiers froze at their posts, chills running through their bodies. Commanders stared at one another, unease growing in their chests. Civilians in crowded markets stopped in silence, listening to the haunting sound. Why were the humans laughing? The Speaker of the Council slammed his hand on the table. "Cut the transmission," he ordered. But it was too late. The laugh was everywhere. No system could block it. No empire could silence it. Humanity's voice had already reached every corner of the galaxy. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the laughter stopped. For a long moment, there was silence again. The galaxy held its breath. Then a second message appeared. The same human officer looked directly into the camera. His words were calm, but his eyes carried something that made even the bravest alien leaders shiver. We do not surrender. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. You want Earth's defeat. Come and take it. The screen went black again. No begging. No fear. Just defiance. The chamber of the council was silent. None of the leaders laughed now. The mocking smiles were gone. Instead, there was only unease. Because in that moment, the galaxy realized something terrible. The humans were not afraid of the council. The humans were not afraid of war. The humans were ready. And somewhere deep inside, every empire felt the same chilling thought. Perhaps the galaxy had just made the greatest mistake in its history. The message from Earth had ended. The single word "no" still echoed in the minds of billions across the stars. But it was not the refusal that haunted them most. It was what came after, the sound. The laugh. It began quietly, a soft chuckle in the council's chamber. Then it spread, louder, sharper, across every screen in the galaxy. Millions of human voices, laughing together, as if the council's demand was nothing more than a joke. At first, some aliens tried to laugh back. See? They are foolish. They laugh at their own death, they said. But the laughter continued, deep, steady, endless. It was not nervous. It was not weak. It was the laughter of people who had seen war before. It was the laughter of survivors. And slowly, the galaxy stopped laughing with them. On the training grounds of Korath, soldiers froze in place, their rifles shaking in their claws. Some ripped off their helmets, staring at the sky as if the sound came from above them. The general who once boasted of Earth's defeat now clenched his fists, trying to ignore the chill crawling down his spine. In the throne room of the Seraphim Queen, the golden feathers of her wings trembled. She pressed her claws against the armrest of her throne. "Why do they laugh?" she whispered. Her advisors had no answer. None dared to speak. In the crowded markets of the galactic core, merchants turned off their holoscreens. The toys and trinkets that mocked humanity, tiny burning earths, humans in chains, were suddenly not so funny. Buyers walked away in silence, the sound of laughter still ringing in their ears. Even in the council's chamber, the leaders who once roared with pride now sat frozen. Their mocking words had died. Their threats felt hollow. The supreme speaker clenched his jaw, his eyes darting around the room. "What is this?" he demanded. "Why do they laugh at us?" But no one answered. Because deep inside, they all knew. The laugh was not madness. The laugh was not fear. The laugh was a warning. The humans were not hiding in silence. They were not trembling in fear. They were waiting, and now they were ready. The laughter meant one thing: they were not afraid of the council's power. Across the stars, rumors spread faster than light. Some whispered that Earth had hidden fleets. Others swore humanity had new weapons, terrible machines that no alien had ever seen. Stories of shadow armies and secret warships spread from world to world. A soldier in a distant outpost leaned close to his comrade. "Do you hear it?" he asked. "Hear what?" "The laugh. Even now, I still hear it. In my head. Like it won't stop." His comrade forced a grin. "It's nothing. Just noise." But in his heart, he knew it was not true. The sound had changed him. It had changed them all. The laughter was now a ghost in the galaxy. A reminder that Earth had not surrendered. A reminder that humanity stood ready. In hidden chambers, some leaders whispered their fears aloud. "What if we were wrong?" one asked. "What if their silence was not weakness, but strength?" said another. "What if we have woken something we cannot stop?" But their voices were drowned out by the pride of others. The council speaker stood tall, his voice shaking but firm. "We are billions. They are only one world. We will burn Earth to ashes. Their laughter will be silenced forever." His words echoed in the chamber. But no one cheered this time. The sound of laughter still lived in their minds, and it would not go away. Far from the council, on Earth itself, the laughter continued inside hidden bunkers and silent war rooms. Soldiers laughed as they prepared their weapons. Admirals laughed as they studied the fleets gathering against them. Ordinary men and women laughed as they built machines in secret factories. It was not the laugh of foolishness. It was the laugh of certainty. Humanity was ready. And soon, the galaxy would learn the meaning of that laugh. The galaxy thought Earth was weak. The Council believed humanity's silence was fear. The empires laughed, mocked, and celebrated in advance. But while they laughed, Earth prepared. Beneath mountains, deep under oceans, and far beyond the edges of known space, humanity had been working in silence. On the dark side of the moon, hidden bases glowed with secret light. Gigantic hangars opened, revealing ships that no alien eye had ever seen. Not old, fragile machines, but sleek warships with armor that drank light and cannons that hummed with untested power. In the deserts of Mars, soldiers trained under blood-red skies. Their weapons were simple at first, then advanced, then beyond anything the galaxy had imagined. They practiced until their hands bled, until their voices cracked, until no fear remained. On distant asteroids, factories burned day and night. Machines hammered metal into war. Engines were forged, fleets assembled piece by piece. Every insult, every colony lost, every wound from the past was turned into fire and steel. The galaxy had watched humans fall before. They had seen colonies destroyed. They had seen humans beaten. They thought it had broken them. But humanity was not broken. Humanity was learning. Every defeat was a lesson. Every loss was a warning. Every wound was a scar that hardened them further. And now, all of those lessons had been turned into weapons. In a bunker buried under the Rocky Mountains, the leaders of Earth stood around a glowing map of the galaxy. Their faces were calm, their voices steady. An admiral pointed at the clusters of red lights that marked alien fleets. "They think they are ready," he said. "They believe they outnumber us. But numbers do not matter when the enemy is not afraid to die." A general leaned forward. "We do not fight for conquest. We do not fight for pride. We fight for survival. And survival means victory, always." Another officer smiled. "Let them come. When they arrive, they will learn what humans have built in the shadows." Around the table, laughter spread once more, not loud, but quiet, sharp, full of certainty. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, massive shapes moved silently against the stars. At first they looked like shadows, but then their forms became clear. Warships, larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen, emerged from the darkness. Their hulls carried no symbols, no flags. Only one mark, the blue and white of Earth. A message was sent to every human base, every hidden fleet, every soldier waiting in silence. "It begins." And as the signal spread, the hidden truth of humanity came alive. Engines roared. Cannons charged. Soldiers stood ready. Far away, in the council chambers, the alien leaders still mocked. They still spoke of crushing Earth. They still believed victory was theirs. But deep in their hearts, some of them felt a weight they could not explain. The laughter still haunted them. The silence still unsettled them. And soon, very soon, the truth would reach them. Humanity had never been silent because of fear. Humanity had been silent because they were preparing. Preparing for war. Preparing for survival. Preparing for the day when the galaxy would come to take their world. And when that day came, the galaxy would not find weak, broken humans. They would find something far worse. They would find an enemy ready to fight until the last breath, until the last bullet, until the last heartbeat. They would find humanity. The galaxy still believed it had the upper hand. The Council's fleets were gathering. Armies were on the march. Billions of aliens expected a swift, glorious war. Earth would burn, they thought, and humanity would vanish into history. But then, the message came. Across every channel, on every holoscreen, in every marketplace and war room, a human face appeared. Not a king, not a president, not a decorated general, just a man in a simple uniform. His expression was calm, but his eyes were cold, steady, and sharp. He began to speak. His voice was not loud, but it carried through the silence of the galaxy like thunder. "You demand Earth's defeat," he said. "You order us to kneel. You believe our silence means fear. You are wrong." The chamber of the Great Council froze. Leaders leaned forward, staring at the human face that filled the hall. Civilians across the galaxy stopped in the middle of their work, their markets, their celebrations. Soldiers in barracks fell silent, listening. The human continued. "We do not fight for conquest. We do not fight for power. We fight for one reason alone, survival. And when humanity fights to survive, there is only one ending." He paused, his gaze cutting through the screen, as if he was staring into the heart of every alien who watched. "Your defeat." The word echoed like a hammer blow. Entire fleets paused their preparations. Commanders exchanged uneasy glances. Civilians whispered in fear. But the human was not finished. "You believe you have seen us fight. You believe you know our strength. But you have seen only fragments. For years, you mocked us. For years, you struck our colonies, killed our people, burned our homes. And in the shadows, we prepared. Every insult became steel. Every wound became fire. Every loss became fuel for the war that is coming." The council speaker slammed his fist against the table. "Cut the transmission," he shouted. But his voice shook, and for the first time, he did not sound in control. The human's voice only grew clearer. "You tell us to surrender. No. We will not surrender. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. You come for us, you will find us waiting. And when we fight, we do not stop. We do not forgive. We do not forget." Billions of listeners felt their hearts pound. Many of them had never feared humans before. But now, listening to the calm certainty in that voice, fear crept into their bones. The message ended with words that would be remembered across the galaxy for centuries. "You want Earth's defeat? Then come. But know this, when the storm is over, when the fire dies, it will not be Earth that lies in ashes. It will be you." The screen went black. For a long moment, the galaxy was silent. No one cheered. No one mocked. The laughter was gone. In the council chamber, the speaker's hands trembled. His eyes darted across the hall, searching for courage, for certainty, but he found none. The leaders who once laughed the loudest now sat pale and quiet. On the war world of Korath, soldiers who once bragged of victory now stared at each other with unease. The sound of the human's voice still rang in their ears. In the Seraphim Queen's throne room, the golden-feathered ruler sat frozen, her claws gripping the armrest. For the first time, her pride felt fragile. Even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, criminals, mercenaries, and wanderers all whispered the same words. "Did you hear them? The humans. They are not afraid. They are ready." The council had demanded Earth's surrender. But instead of submission, they had received a warning. A warning sharper than any blade. And now, the galaxy understood a terrifying truth. They had not faced the real strength of humanity yet. But they soon would. The warning from Earth spread like fire across the stars. Every screen had gone black, but the words remained. "It will not be Earth that lies in ashes. It will be you." No one laughed now. The mocking voices of the council were gone. The galaxy that once jeered at humanity now sat in silence. And then, fear began to grow. On military outposts, alien soldiers trained with shaking hands. Some could not sleep, hearing echoes of human laughter in their dreams. Commanders shouted at them to stand tall, but even the commanders felt the same chill. On royal thrones, emperors and queens tried to give orders with confidence, but doubt poisoned their words. They remembered the eyes of human warriors. They remembered how humans never stopped, never broke, never surrendered. On marketplaces, civilians whispered in fear. "What if Earth has fleets we have not seen? What if their weapons are stronger than ours? What if the Council has woken something it cannot kill?" Rumors spread like wildfire. Some claimed humans had ships hidden on every moon. Others swore Earth had weapons that could destroy entire worlds. No one knew what was true. But the silence of Earth, followed by the chilling warning, made every rumor feel real. Inside the great council chamber, the speaker tried to restore control. "They are only one world," he shouted. "We are thousands. We will crush them." But his voice no longer carried strength. The leaders who once cheered now sat pale and uneasy. None dared to speak of it, but all of them felt the same fear. Because deep inside, they knew humanity was different. Other races fought wars to win. Humans fought wars to survive. And survival was far more dangerous than victory. In the shadows of the galaxy, old veterans spoke with shaking voices. "They don't stop. I've seen it. You think they're beaten, and then they rise again. You think they're gone, and then they return stronger. You don't want to fight them. You can't win against them." But the council ignored the warnings. Pride was stronger than wisdom. They ordered fleets forward. They prepared to march on Earth. And yet, not a single fleet dared to fire the first shot. The admirals hesitated. The soldiers hesitated. Even the mercenaries, who fought for money and blood, hesitated. The image of Earth's calm defiance haunted them. The sound of human laughter haunted them. The warning haunted them. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy faced something it did not understand. Not an empire. Not an army. Not a single weapon. It faced humanity. And humanity was waiting. Far above the blue planet, in the dark of space, the truth was revealed. The stars shifted. The shadows moved. And one by one, shapes emerged from the darkness, massive ships, larger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their hulls gleamed with black steel. Their cannons glowed with silent power. Entire fleets rose into view, hidden until this moment, surrounding Earth like a steel storm. The galaxy gasped. This was the hidden truth. While the council mocked, while the empires laughed, Earth had been building. Every insult had been turned into fire. Every loss had been turned into strength. Every wound had been turned into steel. And now, the storm was awake. The message from Earth had been more than a warning. It had been a promise. Across the galaxy, leaders whispered the same words in fear. "What have we done?" The council had demanded Earth's defeat. But now, the galaxy understood. It was not Earth that stood in danger. It was the galaxy itself. And the war that was coming would change everything forever.